Good morning. It's a little after 8 on Monday morning, and I hope you can hear me over the drone of the motor. You definitely wouldn't hear me over the wind if I was outside. So we made our way out of Kickamuit Harbor, and the theory is we're on our way to Point Judith. The wind's blowing pretty hard, and the seas have kicked up pretty well. This bay that we're in, part of Mount Hope Bay, just outside of the Kickamuit, is pretty shallow, 13 feet at the moment. So I'm hoping when I get out in deeper water, and most of Narragansett Bay is a lot deeper, that things will smooth out. The weather forecast calls for possible occasional shower. Whoa! And so we're not expecting a lot of rain. We are completely overcast for the most part. Little patches of blue show up here and there occasionally. So it should be, well, hopefully it will be a long, boring and uneventful day. But we'll see. And I'll give you a look at conditions outside. Sorry about the racket. We are currently approaching the Mount Hope Bridge, which you may remember from 2 days ago. And we're out in the main channel now, and there's close to 40 feet of water. And things are a little smoother out here. There's still lots of wind, but there isn't quite the chop that there was that had us taking water over the bow on a pretty regular basis. So that's all to the good. The weather forecast for today, by the way, and this is from early this morning, was 10 to 15 knot winds with gusts to 25. And my wind instrument, when it decides it wants to work, is showing sustained winds in the 20 to 25 knot range. So I'm hoping we're going to revert to the forecast conditions at some point. We'll see. It's about 11:30, and we've made it down to the Newport area, and the weather seems to have changed for the better. The wind has moderated somewhat, and the sun has come out, and I'm down here, and there's lots of sailboats sailing around. So I think I need to lose the foul weather gear, since I'm no longer getting water over the bow, and think about putting up a sail maybe. We'll see. We have put up the main and jib, both heavily reefed, and the main down in its lower position, because there's still a lot of wind out here. It's not like it was when I was motoring before lunch, but whoa, it's a lot. And there's big rollers out here. I have no idea what the wave height would be. But also found that the wind has shifted slightly to the southeast, so we are able to set a course to a waypoint off Point Judith, and so that's where we're headed. This is exciting out here. It's fun. It's almost 3 o'clock, a couple minutes of, and we are in the Port Judith Outer Harbor after a lovely sail from Newport. So we're going to continue to sail across the outer harbor, and we'll put the motor on, turn into the wind, put the mainsail away. The jib is already furled. It's going almost downwind. It wasn't doing anything anyway. And then motor up into the pond, to that same area we were in before. It's about 4:15, and we have found a place to anchor in a little place called Cogden Cove. So it's a little off from where we were before. You wouldn't know it from being here, but it's pretty breezy out there where there's no protection from the southeast breeze. So I picked this place because it is protected from a southeast breeze. It's also almost entirely undeveloped. There's one house on it. I guess I'm spoiling their view, or maybe I'm enhancing their view. I don't know. But I think this is a keeper. Of course, I'm in about 6 feet of water, so, and it's high tide. About 3 feet of tide. So, you know, I'm at the margins, but I can do that. So, this wind's on several counts. So I'm going to relax for a while, and I'll show you around. There's not much to see, which is good. So out there in the distance is Point Judith Pond, a little bit north of where we anchored a few days ago. But we are here in this cove, and these are the trees pretty much that are sheltering us from the southeast breeze. And then we have this swampy area back here. If this were in Maine, I'd look for moose to wander in there. I don't think we'll see any moose here. And then there's the house in there, the one house, and then more undeveloped shoreline for the most part. Another couple houses way over there. And that's it. All right, well, I think it's been days since I showed you the charts to show you where we've been. So I don't know how many pages of MapTech chart this is going to take to do, but we started here in Kickamuit Harbor, a really lovely place I can highly recommend if, well, you'd have to have a pretty deep draft boat to not be able to use that harbor. Anyway, so we come out here into Mount Hope Bay. Nasty wind, nasty waves. Down through the Mount Hope Bridge and out into greater Narragansett Bay, and down this way in the general direction of Newport. And going to a new page, coming down this way towards Newport, the weather continued to really suck. And the winds were easily 30 knots, I'm going to say. And that continued all the way down to the Pell Bridge, big suspension bridge across here, that goes from, whatever this island is, over to the Newport area. And when we got down here, everything seemed to change. I guess maybe rich people in the Newport area buy nicer weather, because the sun came out, the wind moderated a bit. It was still pretty windy. I got here, boats were sailing around all over the place. And so, well, we put up our sails too and sailed out into Rhode Island Sound. And we're on a pretty small scale, large area map, but leaving the Newport area, we came across to a waypoint off Point Judith. So this distance is about 8 miles. And then over to the breakwater and in. And there was a really big swell running through this area. I'm going to guess 20 feet. But I mean, it was, the wave period, the distance between wave tops was 200 feet. So, it wasn't threatening. It was kind of like a kiddie roller coaster ride. And the wind was still pretty strong. And it still is pretty strong now, actually. Okay, we'll go to the blow up for the Point Judith area. So we came around Point Judith and in through the southern entrance to the breakwater into the harbor of refuge, and put the sails down at that point and started to motor and came up through Point Judith Pond, and this is the area that we stayed the other day. I forget what day that was, but we checked out a few other areas. We were looking for something that would block the southeast breeze. So we had scoped out this area, Brook Cove, and that looked doable. But we continued on and came up to this area, Cogden Cove. And we're way up in this corner by that 5, right by my fingertip, which does shield us from the southeast breeze quite effectively. So I like this area. It's kind of shallow, but that keeps the riffraff out. So the plan for tomorrow would be to get an early start, assuming we don't wake up in the morning and find ourselves aground. And make our way back all the way to Pine Island Marina. That would be, I'm not sure exactly, and there's no such thing as exactly, but somewhere between 25 and 30 miles. So it would be a long day. Probably won't get in early, which generally I kind of like to do on the last day, but beggars can't be choosers. As of this morning's forecast, I haven't checked again, the weather was supposed to cooperate. There's supposed to be decent wind from a good direction, still southeast. Excellent for going west. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. All right, probably nothing more till another exciting dinner episode. And tonight's dinner is dehydrated barbecue spaghetti and, of course, some wine. Good morning, and welcome to the last day of our cruise, which is a Tuesday morning, if I haven't lost track. We're going to start today looking at the chart. Alright, so it's currently 7:35, and here is Point Judith Harbor. We spent the night up in the pond, off the chart, motored our way down, and we're currently in the harbor of refuge. And we've got winds today from the southeast as predicted, around 15 knots, sometimes up to 20. And we're going to follow this line all the way down along the Rhode Island coast to Watch Hill and then into Fisher's Island Sound. The plan is to get back home today to Pine Island Marina. So we're going to be on a broad reach if the wind holds, which it's supposed to. So since we're going to be on a broad reach, I'm going to try leaving the boom in its upper position, since life is so much easier and more comfortable that way, and see how that goes. And we'll be putting out sail, I think, gradually, but on a broad reach I think we should be able to be pretty much under full sail. We'll see how it goes, as always. So we have worked our way up to fully deployed Maine and Genoa, and the ride seems quite pleasant. It's a little rolly because they're big rollers, like yesterday. Not as big as yesterday, I have to say. Maybe because Block Island is probably knocking them down, some, I'm guessing. Anyway, so it's a little after 8 now. Our ETA at Watch Hill is 11:30. We're doing between 4.5 and 5 knots. About 11:30 in the morning, and we've made it through the Watch Hill Passage area. It was a little lumpy, nothing like I've seen the race, so we can take that. We still have the dinghy behind us that didn't get swamped, so success all around. So we're gonna continue westward up through Fisher's Island Sound. Familiar territory. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon now, and that area in there that's just under the clew of the Genoa is Pine Island Marina. So we have a few minutes left of sailing to get to our entrance buoy, and then we're pretty much home. So we'll need to go in there and dock the boat, unload a bunch of stuff, get it loaded in the car, then take the boat out to the mooring, row ashore, and then drive home. And that's quick and easy to say, but it's probably going to take about 3 hours, all of those chores. So it certainly was a lovely day's sail. So I can sail from my home port to Point Judith, or Point Judith to my home port, pretty easily in a day, so long as the winds are perfect. So I can't imagine they could be much better. They were, if they were much stronger, it would have been a problem. If they were too much weaker, then they wouldn't have been strong enough to push us along as nicely as they did. I did have to fight the current all the way through Fisher's Island Sound, so that was, not everything was perfect, I guess. So all in all, a pretty good trip, and the first one that I've actually managed to last a whole week, despite the weather. So, thanks for watching, and see you next time.